Good evening, everyone, and I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. And that's the second episode for our Decode SIH participants who have registered. Myself, Abhishek Kumar, I'm the co-founder of OSCode. And before we jump to today's session, I just wanted to discuss few things about our ecosystem, what we are building at OSCode, what we are doing at Community X. So Community X is an ecosystem where we have three communities, OSCode, OS Thingiverse, and OS Old, and under the umbrella of Community X, where we are trying to bridge the gap that exists between industry and academics. And when I say these communities, OSCODE is mainly for CS and allied branches. OS Volt is more of electronics, electrical, and electrical branches, and OS Ingeverse deals with more of, you can say, civil architecture branches as well, parallelly. Apart from that, when I talk about numbers, we have impacted more than 50,000 plus students throughout our events and initiatives. We have more than 50 plus chapters across pan India in Indian engineering colleges. We've conducted more than 350 plus events, and 200 plus associated mentors are with us who are doing things and who are there to guide the students and future innovators of India. Apart from that, there are many people who being part of this journey and who are trying to do things not at just their college level, because our community is open to everyone. And we're trying to ensure one thing, the initiatives, the opportunity. And one of such opportunity, which we're going to talk later, is Decode SIH as well. So, Frank, can we go to next slide? Okay, so as I mentioned, we have three communities, and inside that community, OSCODE is one of community on which we've been working from last 3 to 4 years. We introduced OS Volt and OS Ingeverse recently to our ecosystem of community X, when we got lot of requests from engineering institutes, students, and many more college authority as well. But at OSCODE, we have done lot of initiatives, events, opportunity for CS and IT oriented branches, and we do focus a lot on open source contributions as well. We conduct a lot of events. Some of categories which you can see are hackathons, boot camps, open source sprints, DS and interview prep, then mentorship, tech talks, and podcasts as well. But these are not something where we are limited. We do events on students and college authority request, and we have been doing those things since last 3 to 4 years. So we have a lot of stuffs going on at OS Code, and one of such stuff which we at right now everyone is there is, you can say, Decode SIS 2026. Sir, can we go to next slide? Yes. Behind this process, this is one platform which we have built, which is sent 1 or 2 years back. Your Buddy, that's one-on-one mentorship platform, which we developed on students' need, because whenever we started conducting offline events and public seminars, there are many students who want a dedicated guidance or who wants to connect with mentors or industry experts one-on-one and discuss their doubts or queries. For that, we have made Your Buddy. It's one-on-one mentorship platform where someone can get personalized guidance. They can schedule call upon their availability. There are verified mentors, and end goal is to ensure a personalized career growth for an individual. On Your Buddy platform, you can always go and Google it, yourbuddy.in, and you can get more details. And you can also explore this platform later on after this call as well. We have more than 200 plus mentors, and the mentoring minutes as of now, which we have counted, has been more than 30,000 plus. And we have people who are coming from different niche and domain and try to guide the students in different domains as well. And we have mentors and industry experts from top product based company. More than 70 plus company people are associated with us and helping us in this whole journey of guiding and mentoring students. So that's all about Your Buddy. Yes, we can go to next slide. These are some of our success stories which students have been impacted through our events and initiatives. And there are many more which we can't list on this slides. And yes, through our initiatives, you could be someone who could be doing this. And this is one slide which I just wanted to put a lot of focus. Yes, this is the whole thing about this session age, and we are conducting this initiative where almost all of you must be knowing what it is. And if someone joined new, it's an initiative which we conduct to make students ready for coming Smart India Hackathon 2026. So you can treat this like as uh, more of, I'll say, mock SIH or dummy SIH. and there is a lot of perks and benefits from prize pool, AI credits, cloud credits, and you can say industry partners that gonna have hiring opportunity as well. So we're gonna ensure a lot of things. Okay. So Sang, I think for the next part, I would like to call Sasang so that he can just introduce our speaker for this session and we can kickstart.
Okay, thanks, Abhishek. I think that was a very detailed uh, info about our ecosystem. And hi, everyone. So I think we know that today we are here for the session called Choose the Right SIH Problem Statement. So I think all of the people who are here, we all know what is SIH. We all have registered for the Decode SIH. So in a in SIH, your problem statement selection also matters. And that's why we are here today, like how to choose the right problem statement to optimize the chances of winning. Then how do you decode the government problem statements? Like what is government actually looking for? What are the actually user issues that users face and what you need to solve actually? And then what features to keep in your prototype, what to not to keep, because there's a time limit, so you need to build everything in a time pressure. And then finally what the SIA judges actually look for, and that's why we have with us Miss Swetta Roy, who is the product manager at product school, and she also had worked previously at Grow and Razorpay. So for this session, she will be our speaker, and she will be walking through her experiences and like how you can optimize the chances of winning. So before handing over the stage to her, maybe I could just say one thing. So as Abhishek already mentioned, you could use chat for asking questions. There's also a Q&A section. Like if you can maybe let me just show some. So So if you can see, there's a meeting tools here. Inside this, you could go in the Q&A section and you could just ask a question, type your question, post it. If you're not comfortable enough to say your name, you could just post it anonymously and we'll be receiving those questions. And while taking questions, we'll be first focusing on the questions on Q&A, and then we'll allow you to raise your hands or take up the chat questions. So with that, welcome Shweta. Thanks for taking out time, and yes, the stage is all yours.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Shashank. Before we begin, a huge thank you for choosing to spend a part of your weekend with us when you could have just been sleeping, scrolling, or just pretending that Monday doesn't exist. But here we all are. Before I start, I would like to just quickly share my screen. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yeah, it's visible.
Cool. Um, okay. So, as we all know, we are here to know how to choose the right SIH problem statement. Um, I am not here to say that you should just code faster or add AI and call it innovation. I want to talk about what happens before the first line of code, choosing a problem that is actually worth solving. And in SIH, the hackathon starts the moment you decide what pain point deserves your time. So today we'll take a look at the PM lens, which is broadly user problem evidence, MVP, AI guardrails, and the demo story. Um, am I audible and is everything okay? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So I'll just quickly start with my introduction. I am a product person. I started my journey by being a QA, and then I moved on to being a TPM, and now I have transitioned to being a product manager. I'm also a hybrid athlete. That is me outside of work. What I care about is real users, sharp score, very useful MVPs, and honestly, the guardrails. Uh, I think like a product person and a product builder. I care a lot about sharp problem framing, real users, very focused MVPs, and measurable outcomes. No outcome is honestly useful until and unless it can be measured. So my promise for today is very simple. Uh, by the end of this hour, you should be able to look at a problem statement and say that yes, this is worth building, or no, this is just a buzzword build. um, what we are going to decode today. So this majorly is the roadmap for the session. We will shortlist the right problem, then we will decode government statements into user workflows, and then we will validate the evidence, prioritize the MVP, understand what judges care about, and finally learn how to pitch the idea without sounding like a random feature list. Uh, so this is how the workflow goes. But majorly, if you look at any problem statement from a product lens, you should always ask what can be built and not what is, and also what is actually worth solving for. The workflow that you see here is what judges also look for. You shortlist, you decode, you validate, you prioritize, and then you pitch. Next up, I'm going to tell you how a product mindset works. So I've been to a lot of hackathons. I've been on both the sides. I've been on the jury side. I've also been on the participant side. What everybody looks forward to is, let's say if the pain is real, the users are obvious, the tech is feasible, the MVP is very focused, and the impact, of course, is measurable or not. So cool tech plus any weak problem is still an expensive demo. A product mindset means you don't celebrate the number of screens or features first. You ask if the pain is real, is the user clear, can we build the core flow, and can we prove the impact? A lot of teams build technically impressive demos, no doubt. But if the problem is weak, the product still feels weak. That is the core part of the product. So cool tech plus weak problem is just an expensive demo. And then once you start thinking like a PM, which is every idea is a bet on pain, behavior, feasibility, and impact. That is how the whole PM mindset works. I'll just move on to the next part of the slide, which is how do you shortlist the right SIH problem statement? That is where many of us get trapped because we choose a statement just because it says AI, blockchain, monitoring, or smart dashboard. But honestly, in my opinion, tech is not the strategy. You should always go forward and ask what workflow becomes better or what decision becomes faster, what user pain reduces. AI should not be garnished on top of the product. It should actually do a real job. You should make sure that your AI is not hallucinating at any point of time. That makes the outcome very weak. So hence avoid, since it has AI, it must be good. No. Complex is not equal to impressive. We
Shweta, I think we lost your voice, maybe due to some internet issue. Can you try switching off your camera? Maybe that will, because it took a lot of bandwidth.
Am I audible? I think I lost
Yeah,
my internet.
yeah. Now you are audible. Yeah.
So sorry, so sorry.
Yeah, no
I'll
worries.
just, is my screen still visible?
Yeah, we are on that slide, shortlist the right SIH problem statement.
Cool. Yes. So that is how we shortlist the right problem. We just don't totally depend on technology, but we also choose the strategy. We choose the users that we are building for. We choose what problem are we solving, and we also, in a way, see what is the pain that is being reduced. If we are not using AI just for the sake of AI. Moving on. This is something that I've always followed. I call it a problem shortlisting scorecard. For me, there are these few parameters, which is pain level, user access, scope clarity, buildability, data reality, the edge, demo moment, and metric. I live by these whenever I go to a hackathon. You score them from 1 to 5, and then you actually understand if what you're trying to build, is it worth building. Use this scorecard, not just because the score is magic, but because the debate is very useful. So if one person gives feasibility a 5 and another gives it a 2, just pause there. That disagreement is telling you that there is an assumption which is hiding inside the idea. So do not chase the highest score by any chance. Just debate the why. Only the disagreements will reveal the hidden assumptions, and they will take you to a place where you will actually understand if what you are building is right or not. Moving on to decoding government problem statements. So there is a very simple principle that we follow as a product person, which is you turn any system level needs into user level product problems. So anything which is breaking in the system should be turned into a problem which is on a user level. And government problem statements, they often sound like system requirements. So as PMs, our job is to find the human inside the system. Who is doing the work? What are they trying to finish? Where does the workflow break? And why does that breakage matter? That is how a broad statement becomes a product problem. So there is a flow to it, which is actor, action, friction, and then impact. Government statements, they describe the system, but if you see it from a PM lens of view, you will find the workflow hiding inside it, and only then you will find it easier to build or to solve the problem for the users. I will be giving an example here, which is we will decode a broad or a vague statement to a product problem. For this session, I have taken a very broad statement as an example, which is, let's say, build an AI system for citizen grievance management. If now you look at it from a product lens, the problem breaks down into district grievance officer. He needs a faster way to classify and route multilingual complaints because manual triaging creates backlogs, missed priority, and delayed resolution. Now, but I mean, this is what is making the difference. It was a very vague, very broad statement, which is build an AI grievance system. That is too broad. But if we say a district grievance officer needs to classify and route multilingual complaints faster, suddenly the product becomes very clear. Now we are not building a generic dashboard at all. We are building an end-to-end routing flow, which is complaint in, language detected, summary generated, category predicted, urgency assigned, officer reviews. Now, this is the workflow that I was talking about. This is how you find what is the real problem that you're trying to solve, wherein who are the users who are hiding in that problem. So there are 4 things to it: user, input, core job, and outcome. Now the user is the grievance officer, input is the citizen complaint, core job is classify plus routing, and outcome is faster resolution. Now, when we say faster resolution is the outcome, you see how easily measurable the outcome is already. We can always go back to earlier, this was happening, now we have solved it, and this is what is happening now. Moving on to the next slide, which is identifying real user problems. An example again, which is before building, do not I mean, do an assumption dump, which is the example here is, let's say farmers need an AI chatbot. Sounds really good. Again, we have AI in it, and since we are all going so crazy on AI, but what has to be true here? They must have a phone, they must upload clear images, trust the answer, understand the language, and the wrong answer must be handled safely. So assumptions are normal, which is okay, but unchecked assumptions are really risky. So there are so many hidden assumptions to validate here, which is farmers can upload clear images, they trust the AI advice, diagnosis is the real bottleneck here, regional language support should work by any fail because it matters. Also, wrong advice has real consequences because we are dealing with real time users here, and expert review may still be required, which is we still need a human in loop. So just to keep it very plain and simple, product truth is assumptions are not bad, but unchecked assumptions are always bad. We don't do that. Moving on, we validate with behavior and not compliments. So validation is not asking people if they like our idea. Most people will say yes because they are polite. Ask about past behavior. You will have to be very brutal with your own product. That is a very bittersweet principle that we follow in product management. You yourself will have to be very brutal with your product. Ask about past behavior. When did this last happen? What did you do? Where did you get stuck? What do you use today, if not that? And if they have a workaround, just go through it. That workaround is the product goal. New solution is of course the best, but the work around, if the work around itself can be amplified or can be polished, nothing better than that. So workarounds are product goal. Study the jugaad always before replacing it. You will have to do that. Coming to the most important part, which I feel is use AI very carefully in your research. We know that AI is amazing for moving faster. We know, um, someone raised their hand. Can we take that question later on? Cool. Yes. So we know that AI is moving crazy fast. We know there are so many things to do, but use it to summarize PDFs, generate interview questions, cluster notes, or find edge cases. But don't let AI create fake confidence. Don't let it give you false negatives. AI generated personas are not users. Chat GPT saying farmers will like this is not validation. So treat AI as your research intern and not your witness. If I want to focus further on it, I would say that you should know when to use AI and what to use it for. As a product person, we always have personas that we are building something for. Similarly, in a hackathon, when you get a problem statement, you should always know who your personas are, who are you building it for, and then generate interview questions as per them, and not ask AI if something is valid or not. Because then you don't know if your AI is hallucinating or giving you legitimate answers. Also, another very interesting thing, a hackathon is not about, building features, just working functions or features that you can demo. But I would say that you should always prioritize those features which can get you to a winning MVP. So an MVP is not a mini version of every feature. It is the smallest complete journey that proves the core value. If your MVP has login, settings, dashboard, analytics, but no clear user outcome, you have only built decoration. It is not a working product at all. Write the PM sentence, which is, for this user, our product helps them to achieve this outcome by this mechanism. That is when you know that your MVP is working. That is when you know your product is working. Very simple example for grievance officers, our product reduces triaging time by translating, summarizing, classifying, and routing complaints. That is how you present your MVP, and that is how you tell judges that yes, this is our product and this is how it works. There is a framework to MVP prioritization. Uh, I am not sure if we know about it, but this is what we follow in product management globally, which is a Moscow. Must ship, should ship, could ship, or just park it. It is very useful because it forces scope clarity. It will make you get there. Must ship is only what proves the core value. Should ship is important but not democratical. Could ship is nice. Park it is future scope. Not now is not failure at all. Not now is a product decision that we don't want to take this decision right now. So this is what we call a Moscow framework. It is to separate ship now from someday maybe. Again, coming back to the example that we've been following in this whole session, which is the AI grievance routing MVP. Must have is complaint input, language direction detection, summary, category prediction, urgency score, and officer review. Not now is citizen mobile app, reward system, advanced analytics, or just full government integration. This is how we decide what do we want to do right away, what is that something that we want to ship, and what is that something which we can take up later. Now, whenever there is AI, there are always guardrails. So if you use AI, be ready for the product questions. What is the input? What task does the model perform? How do you measure quality? What happens when the model is uncertain or wrong? Responsible AI products do not pretend every answer is correct. High confidence can recommend. Medium ask, medium can ask for more info. Low confidence should always escalate to a human. So confidence, this is what we call the confidence based flow. High is recommend, medium is ask for more, low is escalate to human review. Always keep a human in loop. And whenever you use AI, there are so many guardrails along with how do you handle privacy, or why is AI needed? What does the model do? How will you measure quality? What do you do when your AI is hallucinating? All of those things should be very well handled before using AI. Uh, what judges look for is something from my personal experience. I would say that judges are evaluating the full product case, not just whether your code runs or not. They want to know if your problem is real, if the solution is useful, the tech is feasible, the experience is usable, and the impact can actually scale in real time. So think of judging as a product vibe check. Does this deserve to exist? Can people use it? And can it create measurable impact? That is all. They are just asking one thing: does this deserve to exist? Can people use it? And can you actually prove impact in real time? And then there are certain questions that that expose weak ideas. So before the demo, prepare answers to these questions. One is, who is the user? Then we go on to, what evidence do you have? What exists today? Why is your solution better? Why is AI needed? What is your MVP? What data do you need? What can go wrong? So, in my opinion, strong teams don't hide uncertainty. They explain assumptions clearly. That is where you win. So, once you start explaining assumptions very clearly and the risks and the next steps, you make sure that your product is actually reliable and a trustworthy product. There are some common mistakes that we do, uh, but we would want to avoid these so that we don't end up in a bad space, which is smart teams can, still self-eliminate by trying to do too much. They build for citizens, officers, admins, and ministries all at once. They add AI, blockchain, gamification, and analytics without a core user journey, or they claim massive impact without one specific metric. So be specific, credible, and sharp. Excuse me. That is the PM energy. That is what we look forward to. So choose your tech before understanding the problem. Avoid these things. I mean, build for 6 users at once, shipping a feature list and not a journey, adding AI just because it sounds shiny, and ignoring messy real world constraints, showing only the happy path. No, we also want to see what is breaking and how are we solving that. Also, claiming we will transform India too early and writing the demo story at the last minute. We don't want to do that. Moving on, the winning product story. So your final demo should not be just a feature as per se. I mean, it should be a tour. It should be a tour of the feature and how the product is revolving around it. Never step into a room and say that this is the login and this is the dashboard and this is the profile. Give the judges a main character. For example, this is Meena, a district officer handling hundreds of complaints. Today, it takes hours to triage them. With our product, she gets translation, summary, category, urgency, and a review flow. That is transformation. So tell the story through one user, one pain point, and one visible before after. That is where you win, get your product to winning. That is where you build your product story. Final framework, which is just remember one thing: decode, discover, decide, design, and demonstrate. Decode the statement, discover the real user pain, decide the sharpest scope, design the golden path MVP, and then demonstrate impact through a story. I have never seen any great hackathon products built by accident. It doesn't work like that. They are always scoped with intention, always. They always decode the statement, they discover the real user pain, they decide the sharpest scope, they design the golden path MVP, and then they demonstrate they demonstrate the impact with a story. Again, through one user. That was all. Uh, so that is what I would like to tell you. Do not build random dashboards. Do not use AI as a decorative prop. Solve something real, go out there, decode, validate, scope, build, pitch, and then win.